Thank you for
Yes.
your
Yes.
opportunity, and I hope to provide a different perspective on the luxury in general and real estate luxury markets. Also, depending on the audience interest, as I told you originally when you kindly offered me to do that, we could split, and we can also do a different way, which is answering question if people has. But mostly I would believe there are four main different priority in luxury: how you enter in the luxury, what is luxury, how you define luxury as real estate, and who are the people who are buying luxury, and this kind of different approach will also provide a different way of providing services, because that's what I believe we are as a real estate professional. We are providing service, and the service is what people are needing, asking, requiring. Everything has to be under the legal regulation of each country where property or assets are located. But still, people have some expectations, and we need to know those expectations and how to answer those expectations. And the last one would be eventually also, what are the perspectives? What is the outcome? What are the different opportunity and change that this world currently is going through, because we had the pandemic, and or because there are new priorities, politics, economy, and other things that I have offered to your people to have a perspective in order to decide what is the most important for them. Each country is different. So I'm here, and I would be very pleased to provide you many, or as much as possible, experience and feedback. So I presented you some of my background, which is where I came from, what I am doing, how many years I am in the business, and so forth. So which, in my opinion, give me some international structure and understanding that eventually some people do know their market, but not necessarily outside market. And if we are in the real estate, I think the priority also is, yes, everyone wants to sell their country or their location, but sometimes you need to assist a client or customer to buy elsewhere, depending what they need. And that way we are still doing a good service and doing eventually referral. So that's another way of doing business. As Dr. Sopon expressed, I have started, I was very young. I was 15 years old, so that's about now almost 59 years ago that I started in real estate and international business. And I was for over 25 years directors for the French Association, FIABCI, which the current French FIABCI president is also a member, which is Leo Attias, that most or many of you know. And we were friends for many, many years. I think almost 50 years we know each other before being in the real estate. And also I was a prizer for many years, about 21 years, if I remember well, in the French, and the lay judge. So this information provide me a different perspective, and sometimes we need to approach the real estate and the luxury with different ways. So appraisal is one thing, and we will discuss that about the different definition of what is real estate and who defines luxury. And I'm talking of my current situation. I am mostly based also in the US and the Florida market. We have office in New York, and that's managed by my son. Dr. Sopon knows and met them when we have had our permanent office in Bangkok. And my daughter was also taking care of Hong Kong, and we had partners in Vietnam some time. And then also, as again, I settled and moved to be back to the U.S. In Florida. I am an active U.S. Real estate broker, and working currently with Compass, which is #1 real estate and luxury sales brokerage. And this is our current team. This is something that is currently managed by my son and his partner, and I'm mostly the senior. Like in Asia, the person who provides some maybe more wisdom and balance experience and different perspective than when I was younger and more little quicker to make things. And now with experience, we take a different approach. So Compass quickly is currently doing about $200 billion closing. We are the #1 real estate luxury and real estate brokerage in the U.S. as an independent. It's not a franchise, it's a company that has independent broker, which I am one. Our team, currently of 12 people, has done about $250 million last year of deals between residential and commercial and business opportunity, which is a different kind of service, but could also supply and provide the information for real estate wealthy persons. So it gives you an idea, and we were ranked as the top 1,000. I think we were something like the best, I forgot the number, but I think in Florida we were 21st, and in the whole US, I think we were in the 220 top teams. So it gives you an idea. I'm also as a French and US designation certification, which is education, which I think it's very important. So it's acronyms and letter soup. But the most important is, I believe that we need to be educated, something that we share with Dr. Sopon about always trying to have more knowledge, to share more. Education is not free, but it's to share with everybody and improve everybody, I believe, and we serve better the customer and the client. So this is what I have done. 17 years now in the US and over 32 years in France, but I did for our own business and personal family office and investment more than 50, currently more than 59 years. So, and this some of the designation currently I held in the US, CRS, which Dr. Sopon is, if I remember well, doing the training, CRB, CIPS, which is Certified International Property Specialist, and other different designation and certification. And also the in the past, I was, again, for 25 years, a specialized appraiser for France, mostly, and the European Union. And it was in 1991, so that's made roughly 32 years. And I was doing residential, commercial, exceptional real estate assets and business opportunity. And because I had that, I was appointed lay judge for finance, fiscal, accounting, international trading. And I was representing our industry. I was appointed by the industry, approved by the administrative judge. And I sat there for more than 9 years, several times a week. If I remember well, also, I think that Dr. Sopon has been a judge for something and for some time. Then I became a conciliator, mediator, and arbitrator when people had litigation. And the law in Europe is that you must go to mediation before doing any judiciary litigation for residential and commercial to avoid and eventually to block the system and to eventually find solution before. So this is what we did. We had personal business still, and also in the US, I am with Compass. My specialty was to approve and assist people to move in different countries when they were looking to invest for real estate. And this could be residential, commercial, or again, business opportunity. So this gives you an idea about the importance, I believe, for being as much as possible educated, informed, and aware, because things are changing, and we cannot stay with old expectation and knowledge. We need to improve. On the side, you will see two QR codes. One is for the European activity, so if you want to scan and contact me, and the other one is for the US one, because law and regulation are different and so forth. So if anyone would like to contact me, no problem. As I expressed to Dr. Sopon, I believe also that it is important to properly represent the public and to be as much knowledgeable and at least informed as possible. The best way is to have a team of specialized people, which for me is to work with reputable, knowledgeable, and experienced other ancillary, I would say, other people that are your attorney, which are CPA, lawyers, and insurance company, and so forth, to provide as much possible. I'm not licensed in every business. I have been doing my education in postgraduate, what we call like a doctoring activity, in order to be knowledgeable. Sometimes we need to be able to have a discussion, but not to advise the customer, just to raise the question and then to tell them you need to see a professional and to decide with the best course of your personal business and activity. So I'm proud of keeping and maintaining my capacity and to stay current. And as I said, also, I'm trying now to be more involved with artificial intelligence, which might be a way to provide quicker or more accurate information, but it's not the best and exclusive way to go, because we still have to provide a personal touch and the best information possible. So here is what I believe I am to provide: accurate, reliable, confidential, easiest solution to I would say, arena or the largest possible real estate, and to fulfill needs in residential, commercial, business opportunity, both locally and globally. We cannot be everywhere, but at least being informed, let us know who to address, where to provide, and eventually refer our customer. And there is a difference between a prospect, client, and customer. I'm not going to enter in this difference, but the way to, in my opinion, to provide the best possible outcome is to have a more in-depth personal understanding and know the customer and understand and discover the customer, or at least the prospect to become a client and then a customer. So it's a very important to have a great network, and that's why FIABCI is one way for many people. The other way is to have connection and people you know and work with, like I know Dr. Sopon for several time. We won't talk of the length, but it's a very long time. And I think that this provide the right connection when you need to reach out and to service whatever is needed. So any question, I leave the doctor to decide if he wants to be answering right at the end, or if he wants me probably to answer when people want to reach out. Then I will be glad to respond to question and eventually facilitate. That's not a problem. I'm used of that. This presentation has been provided to Dr. Sopon in different format, PDF that could be shared eventually, as well as a movie of that presentation and the PowerPoint. Now, I see there are questions appearing, so let me see what they are eventually, if we want to continue. Okay. So that's some people from all across saying hello. But if there is question, I'm looking for them.
Still no question, sir.
No, apparently it's not question. It's only people saying some are from Portugal, other I see are from other area, and they are saying hello, probably to be eventually having the credit to participate. The only thing I'm requesting, if someone wants to use the publishing on any form, is just to provide a credit, not only to me, but also to the source that I have used. As you know, you can use any information providing that we respect copyright, and I think this is important for everyone. They do the job. They need the recognition, I guess, to provide them at least some courtesy. So next thing is, if you want, we can go directly on that question. What is luxury? And everyone has a different opinion or experience, no? For me, in a nutshell, is something tangible. So like the lady shows on the right screen, it could be a painting, it could be jewelry, it could be lands, and it could be buildings. And it's a different thing for different people, but it's also intangible assets, and it could be patent and copyrights. It could be franchise or customer data. That's a lot of money for Facebook and even Zoom and other people. So this is an asset, in fact. And we do have also a way to represent that. It's a goods, they are goods and things, but they are not stuffs. Like it's English wording, probably different perspective meaning in different languages, but tangible and intangible are both valuable. The next question then is, what is the most probably valuable? What is the most useful? And there is no answer to that. Some people will be just having stocks and be investing, or bonds and cash. Another will have probably a different perspective, which is to have a yacht, like this one from Mr. Bezos, or you will have cars and golds and a lot of different things. Some people wants to have artwork, jewelry, and collectible. Some people prepare it, and that's what we are like here to serve, is to provide them property, lands, buildings, and eventually businesses for some of us, investment, income returns, and so forth. So the value is it's an expression in the eye of the beholder. Everyone, and depending on the age, did you inherit the money or did you build the money? It's so much personal. This is a Tesla factory. Do you want to own the factory, or do you want to rent the factory? Or this is bullions, and people with the current situation, and you were talking about incoming webinar about real estate in war zone, some people would say you can't take the property with you or it could be destroyed. And this is what happened actually in many areas in the world, and we will see that soon. I will touch base about that. Some people want gold, but it's very heavy to carry. Some people want diamonds. So it's very personal to make a decision. For me, there are other real value assets and luxury. Time is a luxury, especially when we become older. Health is a very, very luxury item also. Family for some people, not for everybody, but at least I feel that family is important. Love, happiness, faith, especially in people's country where you have beliefs and you have religions, which is important to them. Some people are having luxury in success, recognition, pride. They do the news headlines and they are influencer with a lot of followers. Also, luxury is foods and water and health for some people in different places of the world. Unfortunately, they don't or they can't afford. And NFT, which is a non-fungible token of a blockchain, could be considered to be a luxury or not. Everyone has a different definition. So yes, for me, I believe now being coming a older person, time is, in my opinion, very valuable and has a advisor and counselor. My time and my knowledge are my two highest assets, separate from whatever I have been able to build as my own security. And this should be the same, I believe, for everyone. So it's something personal, it's something individual, but there are also wealth and luxury defined by the public or by the society in which you live or the country. Some countries are very proud, and we will see that being, especially in Asia, they are rightfully trying to get back some of their past history, and you will see soon on some photo what I'm trying to talk about. The time and the trend, and we are in a world that things are going faster and faster. So this is also a luxury. Shall we be the same step and speed than the society with the time and the fashion, or is something that we desire? And what about safety? Is this not also a luxury to be safe? Which bring back to real estate, because real estate was originally having a roof or a cave to be protected against bad weather and wilderness and so forth. So underlying, what is wealth? What is luxury? For me, it's some kind of wealth. Some people are happy with $100,000, and some people are happy or never happy even with $1 billion. Some people want recognition. Some people want longevity because they want to have the family. Some people are having also a blue zone. Blue zone, if you don't know what it is, it's a place like Japan, and many are in the Asian, by the way, which are where people are aging older and wealthier, and they are maybe more happy than other people who are running like crazy people. Some place of uplift and something unique. For some people, it's important to transmit legacy. And we know that in China, for example, there is no real individual richness or also the interest is on the whole public. It's on providing something to more than ourselves. It's to offer something to the society. And this is mostly Asian. In Europe, Occidental, Western, it's a really different perspective. So what I do believe is also that in today's market, we need to provide very, very special service which people are expecting. So the white glove, the bespoke, this are the word which are used mostly actually by the luxury car industry. But this is the kind of service that people are expecting. Now, luxury is mostly different on every ground. What is luxury in Warzone that you were just talking about, soon to be able to do a webinar? What is luxury in US or in Thailand or in Japan or in China? It's so different. So I do believe that there is some kind of value that is to be defined, and you have a priority, which is to understand the expectation. So it's mostly dedicated to the elite, or people who think they are the elite, and it could be government decision makers, it could be successful business people, achiever, and so forth. So, but they are all looking for excellence. They want something that is done for them, crafted individually. But also they want something to be part of a tribe. And you probably have discovered by experience, many luxury are in the same area. They want to be different, but similar. They want to be in their own area, but not too far from other people like them. So that's what I call the tribe. It's a very powerful, it's a strong law of attraction, which will see people similar to a peer, someone that you recognize and he recognizes you and them, but often they are looking the next step, something above them. When you talk to someone who has let's say 10 or 20 million dollars, he say, I'm not rich, I'm okay. Rich is someone with 100 million. And the guy with 100 million say, no, I'm not. It's someone with $1 billion. And this is how it is. People are mostly looking above. So they are looking also for similar interior design to have that difference. It could be kitchen, it could be a spa, it could be whatever it is, personal haircraft. And you saw this in the Facebook time and social media everywhere about that. So I'm not going to go deep in that. But luxury amenity is a way to be identical and in another way to be different. So that's why people are buying expensive bags. Japan is well known for that with Louis Vuitton. People are using the subway, and you can see, and I have been there several years to see that people are using their Vuitton bag. And that Vuitton bag cost probably $20,000. So in some place, people won't go in a subway with such a value, but they use it. So it's different way. In fact, there is no contradiction. It's a search of luxury differentiation. And the word that I like to use is sophistication. When you go in the US mostly, and on many malls, even in Bangkok or in very Western presentation of items, you will see very similar fashion, very similar Armani and so forth everywhere. And people are dressed the same thing. And luxury, is it to be like the other, or is it to be like the other but with silk, or is it to have something unique to me? And that's, again, a personal decision. So ego and individualism but within the tribe. So you are part. Everybody should have a plane. Everybody, if you will, should have a yacht, a different one, a bigger one. And this is like the little boys in the school trying to show off and being bigger and stronger. It's not really bullying, but a little. I'm better. And we will see that with some of the big people in the world, the most rich people. Now, about thinking of fashion, the same way you get people tattoo in many countries and for different reasons, but they want this on a specific location. They don't want this necessarily on their tight or on the arm or on their back. And there are a lot of movie currently showing people with large tattoo, which are specific to their wish. The same goes with the design or the color and the quantity. We also have a color. And if you remember, last week, I think it was on about that same day, Monday, Rolls-Royce just announced that they are providing a new Rolls-Royce called Black Rose, and that's a starting price, $25 million for a car, not for a home. And people will select their color and everything they want. For some people, it makes sense, and there is already one buyer. And they will have, I understand, about something like 5 or 10 for the whole world. Everyone is entitled if they can afford. That's their choice. Now, you have the same preference that is provided by luxury, not only in real estate, but again, Rolls-Royce and Bentley and Bugatti, they have their own. And they work with other brands. Bugatti Veyron, the Louis Vuitton type of car. Rolls-Royce is by itself. But you have design coming in, and this is an important, I would say, trend. So this brings us to precisely the new way of luxury on real estate specifically. You see on the screen, I listed some of the most renowned worldwide, not only in Europe, but in China and in Thailand and in the Philippines and Europe, everywhere. Those people are mostly Pritzker list, which is the equivalent in architecture, as most of you should know, because you are specialized. They are the Nobel Prize of Architecture. And if you look at the list of the Pritzker, which I'm going to provide you, which is included here, look at their client. And look at the luxury property which were sponsored by client, and they hired them with only one bold mission, which was make a statement, understanding that statement, in fact, is just my name and my legacy. So it's a kind of interesting way of luxury imprint or a footprint. So now we have seen entering the luxury real estate at the end of the 20th century, which was around 1990, around that time. And then the first 2 decades right now, new player, and they want to be the king. We have renowned brand. I mentioned Armani just before. It's one of the most recognized, specialized, and very large, not only in the fashion industry, but also in the hotel brand. He is building in Miami and Armani also. building, luxury building. And all those people, not only him, you have singers, for people who have heard about the American singer just passing away some weeks ago, about Margaritaville. He is representing of this kind of luxury branding. And you have the automobile. We are talking about Porsche building in Miami, and the currently Bentley building being developed. We have actors, and we have other people that are having their franchising their name, Cheval Blanc, which is a French vineyard owned by Louis Vuitton. We have had Trump, that everybody have heard about, that he has a lot of partners that he was not building anymore, but providing his franchising name. Maybe today it's a more challenging situation, probably. We had Pininfarina, who was specialized in Italy for high luxury design car. We have corporation that are doing that, and it could be like a technology company or telecommunication, whatever it was. And the best example is in India with the Ambani family that has their own type of building, and very specific. We have winemakers, and some are for the good and some are for the bad. So now we do have that kind of situation where anything and everything, providing it spells a positive minority status for very happy few. This is what luxury is. It is a form of giving some kind of credential to get an accelerated, a quicker, and some recognition which will be for years and years to come. It's also from, if you go back to the 1920, the Roaring 20, and also the Asian heydays of colonial time, despite what I call the unwarranted association that came at the late 19th to the second half of the 20th century. But many of the current luxury is perceived to be kind of the past and history, being from India or being from Singapore. And I'm thinking of some of the big brand hotel that are having a return to the old day colonial with high-end quality, and seeing that people in one hand suffered, which is the people of those country, and other very few who enjoy those luxury. Time seems to repeat itself, and they want to leave and mark for the future. Now, there are new forms in building, like we see in Dubai, and if you look at the pictures from Shanghai, we had the old Shanghai in the 1905 to 1935 with the Bund, and now what the Chinese has made as a development. So this brings new forms, new materials, new heights, which is also I'm going to be bigger, higher, larger, and so forth. There are new technology coming in to provide some better service. And then again, suddenly the old become again fashion and trending again. So it's probably something that doesn't change often. So there are rational and irrational. In my opinion, we can define in a disruptive way. It's luxury is general accepted peer's price. So it means, in my experience, that some people that are going to spend $20 million on a property, and we will discuss that point also, is because someone like me, as a wealthy, recognized person, spend 20 million, I believe that I can spend maybe more or less because I want to be smarter, but some kind of the same amount, and I want something different, but it's something we accept. Well, 20 million, okay, it's maybe 17 or maybe 25 million, but this is what we accept. So that's one way of saying what is that. Then the self-pride, which means that I don't care whoever paid whatever. I can afford and I will pay the price. So that's the other way. I can do it and I will do it. It's a sudden special valuation at one set moment by any party to the transaction. Either the buyer, which said, for me, it's worth that much, and I will do whatever it takes to buy it, or the seller, because it's something that is unique, and he knows that he can make the price because it's a situation of a seller's market, if you will. And then the market can make the price and not any of the above. And the market is the situation. We will see even more. It's the ability to own also a rewarding trophy property, haute living. And that is something, it's something that is, in my opinion, also making the price. So we are still doing, so here, I'm sorry, I'm trying to move some of the, okay,
so
here.
May I interrupt a bit?
Yes, please.
Yes, there is a comment question that they said that since luxury properties as defined are more alike piece of artwork, can we say that values of luxury properties as defined will be very subjective depending on perceived value? How then will such properties be valued internationally? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm trying to express here precisely. The value cannot be defined by, there is no rules to make definition of a value, nationally or globally. A value as, and I don't want to step in a pricer or valuation, because this is not, I believe, the point of that discussion, if you will, or the idea that I want to create a discussion for the sharing of ideas. But a location could be defined as something exceptional. I will remind some of you, for example, the Russian Depaska, who was owning in 2005 one of the most important, and I'm not entering into politics, but he had the company that is doing aluminum and so forth. And he had the money, and he wanted to have some of the money outside of Russia at that time. So that was about 18 years ago. He tried to buy the property from the widow of the Brazilian banker who was murdered in Monte Carlo, Monaco, if some people remind that story. And the widow had a property that is very, very unique in south of France. And that property had some value, not only the location, which is the question about nationally, but also because it's historical property, which belonged to, was built by the King of Belgium, who owned at that time the Congo. and looted all the value assets, the timber and so forth. So he built that villa. Then he passed away. It was sold to that bankers from Brazil, Safra. And the widow, when the Russian approached, didn't want to sell at all. Okay, they are 500. Exceptional view. Everything is antiques and valuable, really a treasure in itself. But she didn't want to sell. The man came and said, I put on the table at that time 50 million euro. And he had to make a deposit. Long story short, the sale never closed because the Russian made a decision at that time, and he didn't want to go through the deal. And he lost the deposit at that time, not because the location and because the judge in France, because the property was in France, made the decision saying that he had a deposit that he would lose, but he decided the price. And that's the answer to the question. It's not the buyer, it's not the seller who made the price at that time. She is not selling, but it's the buyer who decided, I want to buy the property. Now, it didn't go through. That's another story. So this is an example that who will make the price? It could be the seller. If you want something like to buy Randolph Hearst, the 20 was the most important newspaper publisher in the US, and you want to buy his castle, then the decision maker will be eventually the buyer because it's for sale, but no one came with the money enough. The same with the daughter of the F1 racing cars, who bought one of the most important property in the US at that time. And she made the price at the buyer, not the seller. And a lot of things like that. So what I wanted to show you here is branded, and I think this is also a very important trend currently, which is information that I provide you with, also the source, which is important. So in Asia, reported by a company called Service Apartment News, on last March, the stock of luxury branded residence was about 1/3 of inventory, 79 development with 16,130 apartments for delivery in 2025. So this is a lot of property if you see only on residential for luxury. That's what is supposed to be delivered. Currently, Thailand is the top developer for that, with 29% of income new supply, followed by Philippines and Vietnam. And I think this is important information because apparently, if I understand well, most of your current listener and people are from ASEAN area and Asia. So mainland China, and that's also something which are in the news recently for the good and unfortunately for the bad too, sold out development which were located in first-tier cities. But that was before the issue with Evergrande and with this week's confirmed situation with Country Garden, which are going, and we will know this in about 2 weeks now, because they have 1 month of grace period. We will see if they default or not, but probably it will be based on the information that are currently provided by news information. So this is one of the most challenging time currently, because there are opportunity, but in the meantime, there are also a mood that could be impacting some of the buyers, not only the average buyer, but the real estate luxury buyer. So here you will have the specific a source, which I think might be of interest for the listeners. And here we have that information. I prepared and updated this on August the 14th, as you can see on my slide. And today we are the 28th, so it's 2 weeks after. And my information, I said at that time, was on the verge to get bankrupt, and apparently it will be, unfortunately, for a lot of people, because this is going to create a not conductive or positive environment locally, at least. So I provide you some interesting information on the outcome and of the volume involved. We are talking probably more than $176 billion. And now to put this in a relation perspective with other country, here you have also reality. You had 2 years ago some profit and suddenly everything disappeared. Sounds to be unbelievable, I would say, at least. Based on the information regarding that situation, as you can see, I found from different sources of this month that the new richest Asian woman is a lady called Saviri Devi Jindal, which is from Indian origin and owned personally 12 billion. That she has increased in 2 years, and contrary to the heiress, young Yuhan, who inherited Country Garden, she lost mostly 24 billion, and she's not anymore the most or the richest woman in Asia. And this is due to sudden shift decision at that time done by government. In this case, China changed because, again, if you put the perspective, U.S. real estate development is about 4.6% of the market, of the whole creation of GDP. China had almost 30%. And even if it was only 20%, this is a huge number. When someone 20% start to feel a very bad situation, this is going to hurt everyone. So you got the number here, and I'm going to skip that. I think it was interesting to also show these maps about how China is actually expanding through real estate, but not only, which means infrastructures. It means ports and airports and construction to help other countries.
Mr. Kidner, so sorry.
Yeah.
You are going to a very interesting issue on China that maybe their investment may be expanding worldwide. But one thing I would like to inform you is that you have another 10 minutes left, sir.
Okay, so we will.
Yes, sir.
I will. I'm
Sorry
going.
for my interruption.
No, it's fine, because this is a lot of information I wanted to share more for Asia people. I believe that was mostly more interesting for you, but there are other which I can also answer question if you prefer, or exchange with the people the way they would like. Since luxury as defined are more likely a piece of artwork, and we say the value of luxury property defined will be very subjective. Yes, it is, definitely. Yes. And again, because this is personal, and the people who can afford and retain the architect and make decision and even have their own. And this is what I am trying. And it's a 99 slide, so it's a big presentation, maybe for 45 minutes. But again, this is one of the perspectives. This is one way of seeing luxury as something, but there are different and other way of looking at that. the way I believe also, which is important for some of the people, maybe not your current audience on Zoom, but other that you are training and trying to provide opportunity to branch out on luxury, is to find who are the buyers, who are those sellers, because you need both of them. What is the reason why they are buying, and why are the reason why they are selling? And it's, again, something very personal, a distinct perception about the risk tolerance. Again, you can't move a home, and I'm not talking of a container home for affordable housing. I'm not talking of camping. I'm not talking of mobile home. I'm talking of luxury home. And, well, maybe a luxury home, if you will, could be a yacht. It's moving, but still it's not easy. Look, the Russian billionaire with their yacht have big trouble. They can't get insurance, they can't access port, and having a luxury yacht that cost $200 million stuck in Vladivostok, I don't think it's some pleasant place to be all year round. Whatever the reason, and I'm not making politics, just the fact, situation can change. So there are cycle and counter cycle, and the time during our life, or as I express, through different priority, the society, the economy, and rules and expectation about the change, priority also can have the buyer or the seller decide to move. And if they want to move and sell, that's a different perspective and way of working. And then you have all the individual situation, holding time, horizon, generation, buying and maintaining, keeping or retrofitting, updating. What do you want to do? And the same go with people who wants to have legacy. And this is a question based on age. People that are rich and wealthy at 40 years old or 30 years old, and those who are, and I'm not talking multi-billion, I'm talking someone who can afford to buy for 20 million and has maybe 200 million. And there are several thousands of such people, and you don't buy luxury real estate the same way at 35 or 40 years than you may buy at 80 or more, or for the same purpose. Some people, for example, wants a museum, and that's what I was talking about, a place of faith or a land. So here it's a very specific and personal situation. I can try to speed up a little. I was trying to show you what are the meaning of luxury, and going on to how to secure, and how do you reach a high net worth individual? And what level of wealth are we talking? What position are they? Their company or themselves, and so forth. So I'm going to skip all that. The most important maybe is how you reach to them. Directly, do you know them? Do you have to go through their gatekeeper, advisor, office manager, and lawyers and expert who may also want to get a cut? And that's an important one. How do you succeed in that business is a very tough situation, because if you don't justify the value, your remuneration, if you don't show what you can bring to the table, why do they want to work with you? There are no reason. So you need to bring something, and the something is your network, your knowledge, your solution. You are someone to heal a problem, and to heal something, you have to know what they want. So is it always easy? No, but is it absolutely with time and confidence, you will succeed in real estate luxury. So we are intermediary. We are most of the time not ourselves luxury owners. Some are, but not everybody. And so what we do provide is unparalleled, unique, exclusive, proven luxury value. And what it is our time, our experience, our expertise, especially if we are for a long time, our network, and a lot of those things. So if we try to accept a rich person to lower our compensation, we are not going to do a good job, because if we can't fight for our own value, how can we fight for their benefit? And so this is something that we think need to be addressed, and only confidence will help you. Do you lose customer? Probably. But if you can prove that you are unique and you have the solution and you have the means, you have the connection and all the things that needed to be gathered and provided, then they probably will not, because they don't want to be lowered themselves, and you have to show that you will provide and engage and deliver everything until the closing table. So once you demonstrate that, you get the respect, and respect go both ways. And those people who are successful, they recognize the people who are respectful. So that's what I believe. And this depends on every, does not depend on any culture. It's something that people recognize. So next, we will talk quickly about how do you meet them, how do you work with them, what you do, and you have a lot of opportunity. You can meet them and find way to approach them and to work with them and show some value. So here is a lot of options that you may want to consider and to try, because you are doing these activity and entertainment and social gathering yourself, and that would facilitate that contact. So know the buyers, know the sellers, know the intermediary and the facilitator. Now, depending the country, it could be more challenging. In US, there are very stiff law regarding illegal challenge and issue, and other countries are more flexible. So that's each country has a choice, and each country has culture, and each country has its own law. And I let you just think about that by yourself. Now, why people are going to buy or sell, as I said, it's something you can discover through conversation. So you need to know their motivation, the fears, the expectation, what they are issue and priority, the mindset, and who are their enemies, and eventually what experience, a bad experience, they had before. And with whom eventually are they competing? Are they being willing to surpass and to be better and higher and bigger? That gives you also an opportunity, if you have access to the property to buy or sell, to provide that service. So you have to be an insider somehow in their mind. And here are some examples, not only from Asia, but Brazilian, Argentinian, Mexican, Colombian, and so forth, that provide opportunity in real estate luxury, excuse me, because they need to transfer. And some people are transferring funds and they know they are going to lose money, or at least it will cost them something, but it's still more than losing everything. We know by experience that from China that people were sending money through Hong Kong and through Macau and other Asian point of transfer. to protect, to conceal, to hide, to reinvest, whatever the name is, and eventually to do things that they perceive to be more important for them.
Mr. Kidner.
I'm not going to develop that.
Mr. Kidner.
Yes, sir. There is a weird noise.
Now
I'm listening.
Hello.
Yes.
So now it is maybe some few minutes left. Let me just see some chat. There are some questions, something. Maybe
Yes,
you
sir.
can answer some questions.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes. They said that since
so
maybe the voice not so clear.
So blank check to the stand there. So here I have a question. I'm trying to read that question. So since it's very personal luxury property and custom made to meet requirement of exclusive buyer, the question is, will such buyer be better off to source for their land, location, and engage their own team? Well, the question here, in fact, is there is no real answer, because if this buyer from that country, does he speak the language of the country? Does he know the culture? Does he has time, or does he has people working for him to do all the work? Because if he's very rich, wealthy, successful person, he makes more money in his business than doing real estate development. This is not his business. His business is whatever it is. Chemistry or technology or telecommunication or building whatever it is in his industry. This is where he's successful. Elon Musk is not a builder. He has people he pay for. So the real question or the real solution is, you need that network of specialized people that you can provide them and facilitate. That's where all your different FIABCI people and eventually specialized groups come together, because you are going, each one help the other one, and finally succeed to have built the property.
Yes, sir. Maybe one last question, sir. That is, when we buy luxury property, maybe some properties might be 10 million US dollar, or you see Mr. Larry Home, his house may be over $50 million or something, and eventually he has to sell his house because it is too expensive to maintain, and the house in accordance with their own preference or their own taste. Maybe if they sell it, the price may drop. The price may drop because the buyers may not like that taste. So this may be one consideration. Maybe you can kindly answer this question, and then we have to end our presentation. I know that your presentation only 40 something pages only, but you have 90 pages. Maybe
okay, so to answer your question, if someone can invest, buy $50 million in a property, or even 10 million in a property,
yes,
he will not have an issue of paying a certain amount. And I will give you a number from the thin air, but my experience, I'll tell you how much it is. He will not have any problem to recruit or to retain and hire people to take care of the home. And take care means completely, which is maintenance,
yes,
service, which means having a butler, having a nanny, having a cook. That's also part of having a $50 million home. But it's also having a roofer, someone to clean the home. And it's not one person. It will be probably 5 or 6 person at 50 million. It's not a 2,000 square foot property. It's probably a between 5,000 to 25,000 square foot. Roughly 500 square meter and so forth. So those people will not have any problem because they have the money. Now, if they lose their business, yes, they will. And we know that some of those rich people that lost their business first, more than everything else, that was the reason why they sell the property, but not because they couldn't maintain the property. Because many luxury people bought property for one reason. They bought it to raise the property, to clean, just to get the land. And then they built a brand new property, and that it was purchased for what? 15 million, destroyed the old one, and then built a new one, and that comes to 50 million. And then they try eventually to flip, to resell with a profit. So that's a different type of luxury investment. It's not the end buyer. This is the intermediary that tried to make also some money. And why not? But we are talking of the final user, I guess, in your question. And the end user, if he has 15 or $50 million, I believe he can afford, and I give you the number now. If you have a yacht, the rule of thumb is about 10% per year of the cost for maintenance. And this includes everything, the captain, the gas, oil, the food, and the people to help you, and the butler, and so forth. So for a home at that price, I would say it's probably the same amount only to maintain and to service. In addition, there will be insurance that we didn't talk, and that could be very expensive depending where you live. If you are in the Philippines or if you are in Indonesia, it could be a problem to have a earthquake or a volcano insurance. If you are eventually in the California, it could be also a problem, or in Florida today or tomorrow. In fact, we are waiting for a hurricane to come, and some people just, go through and they say, okay, it's a hurricane, it's only 50 million, I will buy another one and I will build another one. Or like Jeff Bezos last month bought a $68 million property in Miami, outside of Miami, near Mataplan, and it's a bunker. Okay, why not? People can live in a bunker, but personally, I wouldn't put 68 million to live in a bunker. I don't need that much because there were one day when we all passed away, we will be under the 2 or 6 feet under the ground, and I'm not in a hurry. So answering that question is, I don't believe that 10 or 15% of the cost of the home is going to block and devalue the property. I do believe that there will always be someone looking to a location, something special. I want to have something that belonged to someone that is well known, because my name is attached to that name, and suddenly I become making the newspaper headline. It's a likely, probably ego most of the time. It's my opinion.
So thank you very much for your opinion and also your answers.
So do not hesitate if you need to reach out. I will be glad to add information, but you have a lot of data for the Asian market that I thought was more interesting for you. But there is also data about the luxury sales in the US from this year, information regarding what is the value, and maybe just before we leave, rich and luxury is probably today not anymore 1 million. It's not. For your information, 10% of every home sold in the US is above $1 million today. And luxury today for real estate is probably starting at between 3 and 5 million. And Uber or upper luxury is around probably now 10 million.
I see. Okay, so last question, sir. As we have limited time, there are so many good information we still not yet learning. So would you please share information
yes, you
for our
have the
self-learning,
copy,
so we will share your file so that you can people can our participants can learn from you, and then in the future we will try to
they
organize
can either
longer period so that you can have time to speak.
So either they have from you because you have a copy of everything, or they can reach out to me, and I will provide them a way to access the data.
Okay, so thank you very much for today, and
thank you for your time, and I hope I provided some interesting perspective.
Your information is very interesting indeed. So let's all of us thanks Mr. Kittner for your contribution. God bless you. All the best to you. See you later. Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Take care.